Okay. Is it recording? Okay. Not sure it was recording before, but definitely is recording now. Anyway, so, I just came back from seeing Bohemian Rhapsody, and I really liked it, you know? I love Queen, I love Freddie Mercury, you know, when I first heard about the Sacha Baron Cohen one, I was just kind of a little weary about it, because, like, I like Sacha Baron Cohen singing, but we all know, like, him as this weird character guy. I'm just like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And then that fell through, and I was like, okay, I guess that's not happening. And then suddenly one day, with the effects people I follow, they're like, hey, here's a shot of Freddie Mercury. Here's a shot of Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury. And I was like, wait, what? Since when, you know? And since Brian May and Roger Taylor, you know, executive music produced, supervised this movie, there was, you know, I feel like that, you know, obviously the band themselves have a lot more say into it as to what was happening before. And I feel like the casting for all the guys were very, very on point. Like, I looked on IMDb for the guy who plays Brian May, and it's just like, it just does not look like that. Like, you don't look like that in the movie at all. Like, it literally looks like a young Brian May, you know? I remember just seeing that, like, did they do some fucking, like, Jeff Bridges shit to Brian May and put him in the movie? And I was like, no, that's not. I'm like, because obviously the actor's voice is different. I'm like, no, you know, the Roger Taylor one, like, you know, just mainly, like, the eyes are a little different, but, like, very on point. Like, all the guys, you know, and even definitely in, like, obviously Rami Malek has the very, like, you know, his very, like, his eyes are, what's the word? Like, I don't want to say his signature, but you could kind of, like, just, you know, are prominent, I guess that's the word? Yeah, like, you recognize him, like, that's Rami Malek. And then, obviously, once they gave him, like, the teeth, the overbite, and I think, like, did they add, like, extra, like, something extra to the nose? Like, just a little bit, just because Freddie Mercury had a more, like, prominent nose. But when they would do, like, wide shot, like, not, like, wide shots, but, like, you know, just a little bit, you know, where you really couldn't tell, like, alright, that's Rami Malek. You'd think, like, that is Freddie Mercury, and it was amazing. He had, like, all his mannerisms and all that stuff, and they weren't, like, yes, Freddie Mercury was very, like, you know, obviously flamboyant and very exaggerating with his stuff, but, like, he didn't do it, like, just to, like, you know, like when drag queens are like, I'm gonna do Cher, oh, like, it wasn't, like, that kind of, like, caricature of the person. It was just like, oh, shit, like, you got it down, you know, with the fucking, like, mic, with the lunges and all that shit, and I was like, yeah, see, singer of Dragon Force? I saw Dragon Force once, because they were, like, opening for, I think, Kill Switch, and I was like, dude, do you think of Freddie Mercury with that? Also, God, stop showboating. But anyway, but yeah, I think that was great. Of course, they used, you know, their music in it, you know. And I think I read where it's like, obviously they took a lot of the vocals from Freddie himself, and then there was some other artist that was also doing some of the singing. Like, not the parts where they were, like, you know, obviously it's like the full song playing in the background, or they're performing live. A lot of it was just, obviously, either from the record or, like, the Live Aid part where, you know, because the Live Aid part was actually recorded, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, parts where they're like, oh, let me, you know, just kind of just, like, oh, what's the word? I'm writing this song. And so it just starts singing. You're like, wow, like, where'd they find that kind of track? So I read that, yeah, some of it was actually Freddie, mixed along with a bit of Rami Malek's vocals, and then some other dude's vocals, like, just kind of, like, all transitioned in, so it wasn't so, like, you know, like, in, wasn't so, like, Stuart Townsend in Queen of the Damned, where he was just like, hello there, blah, 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 I'm Lestat, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm Jonathan Davis, like, you know, and he's like, ah, you know, with that, the fucking, you know, what's the thing he does? I don't want to go into that scatting sound he does, but that, you know, it was just like, wow, okay. You know, it wasn't that far of a leap where you're like, that just sounds so off, you know? Um, but yeah, like I said, like I understand there are people who have like issues with this movie because like some of the historical accuracies are a little bit like, well, that happened this time and that happened here, and well, that I don't think happened there, but then it happened here, and like the, you know, and yes, like I get that's upsetting and annoying and all that stuff, but I like in like a film point, like in a film standpoint, I get why they kind of like, you know, rearranged a bit and kind of just for like a story flow kind of thing. Because of course, like, you know, real life doesn't play out like a movie. There's no like a sudden convenience or like, you know, last minute like, oh my god, please play the, you know, like, you know, someone runs in, they're like, I found the cure, you know, that kind of shit. So I get why the people were like, oh, like, it was wrong because this happened in the 70s and you're saying, I mean, this happened in the 80s, but you're saying it's the 70s, like this kind of back and forth. And again, I get it. Again, in a film standpoint, like, you gotta, you know, go with the flow. Like, the first, you know, act and a half of the movie went by real quick. It was just like, you know, it was just like, all right, Rami Malek, like, Freddie Mercury, he's a strange kid. Anyway, you go see this band. Oh, the singer, like, and bassist decides to, like, quit. Anyway, he's like, so, I've been following your band. I like you guys. I write songs. And it was like, yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, blah, 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 just starts singing. He's like, anyway, oh, I'm in the band? Suddenly we're doing this. You know, like, a year later, we've got like a little, like, we were selling out like little tours and stuff. Bam! Couple of years later, it's like, we're big. Bam! Bam! Like, it kind of just like goes through the years real quick, which I understand, because we kind of get it. We know, like, Queen is fucking amazing and all that stuff. But it was just kind of like, anyway, like your band, I'm in the band. We're fucking, you know, being signed. We wrote Bohemian Rhapsody. Alright. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, so much happening, you know? This movie is like 2 hours and like 15 minutes or something like that. It didn't feel like that. Whatchamacallit. Well, it's also like you got all this lovely music, so you're just like, no, just keep playing. Play their whole fucking catalog, you know? Whatchamacallit. Like I like the part where they're discussing with the label guy, which is played by Mike Myers, which is fucking awesome. You know, I love it. Like when I was during the opening credit sequence, it was like, and Mike Myers. I was like, yes, I'm so glad they gave him a role. You know, because it's like if it wasn't for him having Bohemian Rhapsody and Wayne's World, like a whole new generation wouldn't. Like, you know, people would have known Queen, but it just wouldn't have, like, the same impact kind of stuff, you know? Especially now, people, like, would purposely put it on, you know, during car rides and all that stuff, you know? And it's like, a lot of people's introduction to Queen was Wayne's World. Like, I was really young, you know, when Wayne's World came out, so I knew of Queen beforehand, just because, like, my mom really likes Queen. But, like, definitely with Wayne's World, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then when they, like, I remember they re-released, like, the music video, so it was, like, tying in for the movie. It would be clips of the movie, you know, where they're, like, in the car, but then it would show footage of Queen themselves playing, you know, and I remember just being like, this is so amazing! Which it is, because Queen is fucking amazing. And so I love that, you know, that, again, Mike Myers plays that label guy, and especially the guy was like, people aren't gonna listen to this song in their car and bop their heads, and you're like, ah, you're like, that's what you did. They did the thing. Anyway, like I said, yeah, so I remember I mentioned this before, where like, you know, when the teaser trailer came out, and there was a lot of people who were like, they're not talking about his sexuality. And I was like, first of all, it's a teaser trailer, and you kind of, like, barely see their faces. You kind of hear a couple pieces of dialogue, and then it's like, anyway, this movie's gonna come out this time. Like, y'all gotta stop. Like, the teaser trailer was like a fucking, you know, sneeze of a second, you know, and then once more of the trailers came out, people are like, okay, you can see him being flamboyant, blah, blah, blah. Like, in the movie, you know, like, they didn't go too heavy into, you know, like his relationships like that, but they were pretty much saying like, okay, you know, the woman, you know, Mary, who he like fucking I think like left his like estate to, you know, he was with her, and then you know he got with the guy that was supposed to watch over the band, you know, and then led him into like because it's like the rock star life, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, that shit. And then he later got with that other guy. Like, okay, you know, but like a lot of things were insinuated, you know, and I feel like they didn't really need to go like too hardcore into it, you know, too much into this whole like he did some nasty dirty shit, you know. It's like no, like yes, a lot of this is about Freddie Mercury, but it's also about Queen themselves, you know, about the band, about the music. It really is about just like, you know, like they even said in the movie, like you're four misfits that shouldn't really be together, but you are together, and you're playing music for other people that don't belong. And as cheesy as that sounds, like I was like, yeah, I'm with that, you know. But yeah, and there's a shot where it's like they're at a truck stop, and then there's like guy in trucker hat like. I have to stop doing the snap point, but like, because this movie has none of that, but I keep doing it. But the guy just kind of like eyeing Freddie Mercury, and he's like, I'm going to the men's room. Like, you're gonna join me. I was like, that guy, I don't know, something, again, right here, like, cause he had like the trucker hat, all kind of scraggly looking. I'm like, something right here in the eyes just felt familiar. And then like, during the credits, I was like, oh my god, that was Adam Lambert! Like, you know, since now Adam Lambert sings for Queen, which, I don't know, it's nothing against him, he has an amazing voice, but it's just kind of like, my brain can't wrap around it, and I would love to see them live, but I'm just kind of like, it's not the same, as if, like, my ass at, like, fucking, you know, 2 years old was like, oh, I gotta see Queen, you know, like, what the fuck's wrong with me, you know, but, yeah, I was like, oh, shit, they got Adam Lambert in it, awesome, you know, but, yeah, like I said, like, I really enjoyed it. A lot of people have seen it already. A lot of people already, like, enjoyed it. Again, there's always going to be people who are going to complain about things, because that's how life is. Especially when it comes to, like, a biopic kind of thing. Like, people are just they're gonna nitpick. And again, I understand the nitpicks, but at the same time, I was like, I was feeling really emotional with the music because it's freaking Queen, you know, and I was like, oh my god, I love your music, you know. The third act was just pretty much their Live Aid concert, which is totally fine, because that is fucking amazing, like, you know, show, I guess, performance, and all that stuff, whatchamacallit, and part of me was like, oh, I wonder if they'll play, like, my favorite song. They played it, like, during the credits, you know, but yeah, you know, of course, like, the Live Aid show ends, and then, like, you know, it does the whole, like, he, you know, passed away at this date, and all that stuff, blah, 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 you know, like, years later, they went #1 again, like, one of those, like, and look where they are now kind of stuff, and then it was, like, credits, and then it was just, like old school live footage of actual Queen playing while the credits are playing, and then I was just like sitting there like, not really like crying, but just being kind of like in the moment of like, God, I love this band. Okay, trailers. So the first one is called Serenity. Fuck, I don't remember. Here I go again, having to probably go on fucking IMDb. Serenity, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay, yeah, it's the one where it's Matthew McConaughey, a bunch of other people, with Diane Lane, Anne Hathaway, they're on an island, and it was just like, do you ever feel like blah 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 life and all that stuff? How long have we been on the island? I don't know if it's like forever, but I even like one of those kind of things. And you know, I don't know, apparently it's like Matthew McConaughey is told by Anne Hathaway to kill her husband, who's played by Jason Clarke, and, you know, all this stuff, and it was just like, oh, something about the island, like, whatever. I don't know. You know what kind of movie it is it when they show like the names of people where they have to do like Academy Award winning, Matthew McConaughey Academy Award winning, Anne Hathaway, Academy nominated, blah 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 blah. It's like Academy nominated, and Jason Clarke. And I was like, oof. All right. You were in Terminator Genesis. Anyway, next is Holmes and Watson, which is the Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Sherlock Holmes movie. It's one of those dumb, funny movies, like, just take it or leave it. After that is Second Act, which is a movie starring Jennifer Lopez. And that's probably all I need to say, and then we'll just leave. It's about how, like, she works at, like, a supermarket kind of place. Like, let's just say she works at Target. Like, those kind of places, like a Walmart kind of spot. And, she was just like, I should be manager, da-da-da. And then this person's like, well, this boy should be manager because he's got, a degree. And probably because he's a man, But then, like, some kid, like, really, like, lies the fuck out with her resume, and then, like, ups a Facebook page, like, some crazy shit. So suddenly, like, it's, like, this law firm job in, like, freaking One World Trade Center, like, Freedom Tower, and I'm like, okay, sure. Like, wow, especially if you're getting a job like that, they don't really check the credentials, but it's one of those kind of movies, one of those Jennifer Lopez movies, and I'm just like, I don't care. God, every time you do a movie, like, you're a great entertainer, but, like, girl. Anyway, after that is Vice, which I remember Paul had mentioned it to me, and it's Christian Bale, fat, because he plays Dick Cheney, and then Sam Rockwell as W, and then I forgot whom as fucking Rumsfeld, and then Amy Adams as fucking Lynn Cheney. Oh my god. I don't know. It looks interesting, but like, it's just the Bush years. I'm kind of like, I don't really want to watch this because I don't really want to deal with the war that's never ending, Anyway, after that was the trailer for Rocket Man, which is insane because that movie literally just wrapped, like, probably, like, a couple weeks ago. And they already have, like, a teaser trailer or whatever thing. Because it said, like, coming this summer. And I'm like, coming this summer? It was like 43 degrees outside and I was shivering. Like, yeah, the movie literally just, like, wrapped because, what's his name? Taron Egerton is, like, he's doing press now for fucking Robin Hood, and his head's all shaved because he had to do the hairline stuff. Anyway, after that is movie The Mule, which is a Clint Eastwood movie, and he's a drug mule. He's like, I'm an old man, but I got drugs in my pickup truck. But and there's like the line that like all of these kind of movies have, where it's like, it's the last one. It's the last one. I swear, it's gonna be the last one. Like, that always happens in these movies. After that is The Favorite, which is kind of like a slightly comedic, like, dark comedy kind of movie with, what's her name? Olivia Colman. She was in fucking Hot Fuzz and Broadchurch and all that stuff. She's really cool. What's her fucking face? Emma Stone, and then, is it Rachel Weisz? I think it's Rachel Weisz. But yeah, it's like them in a movie. I don't know. The costumes look pretty, the sets look pretty, the story seems kind of meh. And the last one is Alita, which I feel like Alita's been advertised like forever. Like, wasn't it supposed to come out during the summer? I don't even remember. Like, it was supposed, or was that Alpha? Or was I thinking Alpha? These two movies were like advertised like forever. And one Alpha finally came out, I think, during the summer. Fuck should I know? Because the last trailer I remember was like that Disney family type of one. Anyway, and then Alita's been fucking, advertised the shit out. And I'm just like, how long has it been? I've been seeing trailers since beginning of summer. But anyway, like I said, that's Bohemian Rhapsody. I really like it. Of course, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. Like, it's great. If you love Queen, go see it. Because now I want to listen to Queen a lot more. Not that I don't before, but you know what I mean. Anyway, done.